Language learners often think that speaking is the most important aspect of learning another language. But if you really want to learn a language, if you're serious, you need more than just speaking and language study. You need more. Research shows that stories work as a best way to understand and recall and attend to and enjoy and learn and deeply engage with language. So with big reading, you master language with inspiring stories that improve your life. It works as a key way to help you become a clear and confident communicator. So why should we care about big, easy reading? Well, reading makes you smarter. Deep reading helps you develop critical thinking skills and helps you gain insight. Reading helps you improve your verbal skills, your language powers. And reading improves life and brings a lifetime of enjoyment. So what do the experts say about extensive reading, or as I like to call it, big, easy reading? Well, Paul Nation says, an extensive reading program is the cornerstone of any well thought out language course. What is the best way to improve how you teach or how you learn a language? Nation says that it is to start an extensive reading program. Doing extensive reading is the best way to improve how you teach. It's the best way to improve how you learn a language. It's also the best supported technique we have in the field of second language teaching, according to Stephen Krashen. And Dr. Rob Waring says it is a completely indispensable part of any language program. So a lot of experts stand behind the power of extensive reading or big, easy reading. So just exactly what is big, easy reading? Well, I like to think of a reading bee. Now, usually we think of the word bee as a bumblebee buzzing around, but there's a secondary nuance of the word bee, which means a meeting for community enjoyment. A reading bee would be a meeting of readers for community or communal enjoyment. And big readers get community with authors, with characters, and other readers. When you read a book, you meet the author in community. When you read a story of fiction, you meet characters and you commune with characters. And when you read a book that you enjoy and share your enjoyment with others, you have community with other readers who also read that book. So big, easy reading is a reading bee for communal enjoyment. But B, B-E-E, also stands for big, easy, and enjoyable. And these are three keywords that can help us understand the power of big, easy reading. So let's take a look. B stands for big, and usually when we think of big, we think of word counts. So a few words is not big, but a breakthrough in big, easy reading is about 300,000 words. So when a language learner reads about 300,000 words in English, for example, they stop translating from their native language to English, and they get sort of live broadcast of English into their brain. They also gain confidence, and after 300,000 words, we can start to see measurable gains on things like standardized tests. So if you read X number of words, it's like living abroad for 1 year. What is X? So how many words do you need to read to equal 1 year of living abroad? Well, the answer is 2 million words, and this comes from Nishizawa 2009. In 2009, he said 3 million, but later he has reduced the number to 2 million words, right at the level of learners, of course, not too difficult, and that can equal 1 year of living abroad, and that's what we mean by big. 300,000 words is the threshold, and 1 million to 2 million is really a breakthrough explosion of improvement. So what is easy? We've said this many times in many of my talks here at Elemental Linguistics. What percentage of the words do we need to know to read easy? Right? A common answer from teachers is 70%. Students will say so too. Oh, if I know 70% of the words, that's easy. But actually 95% is readable. and 98% is the magic number. So let's take a look at this, what this feels like when you know 70% of the words in a story. Two wellies were loudering through the ponds. As they loudered, they waned the beautiful colors, they gipped the buttles of the wind in the balloons, but then everything became kype. The wellies nimmed around, they frinned that something Jarvis was going to plume, and then all of a sleeden, a big black stace came out of the bants. The stace adair up and made a great buttle. For a thibe, the wellies didn't move, they just adair their chund. Then one of them holt. He holt ujay and got up a nearby balloon. He was duffening only about his dowricks. Now, of course, even a native speaker cannot understand this text because all of the red words are unknown to anybody because they're nonsense words. Makes it impossible to understand. So 70% coverage is way too hard. Let's look at 95% coverage. Two men were loudering through the woods. As they loudered, they enjoyed the beautiful colors. They listened to the buttles of the wind in the trees, but then everything became quiet. The men looked around. They felt that something bad was going to happen. Then all of a sudden, a big black bear came out of the woods. The bear stood up and made a great buttle. For a second, the men didn't move. They just stood there surprised. Then one of them ran. He ran away and got up a nearby tree. He was thinking only about his safety. So what can we learn from these two different texts? Well, we can guess buttles, for example, from context when we know 95 or 98% of the words. Take a look. So, listen to the buttles, made a great buttle. So buttle must mean sound, okay? So now let's look at E for enjoyable. ER is big, easy, and enjoyable. Extensive reading is big, easy, and enjoyable. When we enjoy when the level is right. If it's too difficult, we won't enjoy, right? We get extrinsic benefits, for example, helpful information that helps us live better lives, and we get intrinsic rewards. The reward is play. So when we read fiction, for example, the reward of reading a fun, enjoyable book is reading that book, right? So big reading is primarily, but not only pleasure reading. Pleasure reading is a form of play. It is a free activity standing outside the ordinary, and it absorbs the player completely. That comes from Nell, 1988. Extensive reading is often play, and play motivates. So with big reading, you can get playful pleasure through stories. You can get smarter. You can make yourself smarter. You can learn the keys of happiness and the good life, and you can grow your language superpowers. There are language benefits that come with big easy reading. Big reading can correlate highly with TOEFL performance. For example, for 101 pre-university ESL students, extracurricular reading, ER, correlated most highly with TOEFL performance. This comes from Gradman and Hanania. Also from Mason 2014, Kenta's TOEIC jumped from 625 to 795 by extensive reading. He gained 175 points and 0.87 points for every hour that he read. Language benefits of extensive reading. Can playful extensive reading improve your writing skills? Hafiz and Tudor at 1989 did a 3-month extensive reading experiment, and they say the results showed a marked improvement in the performance of the experimental subjects, especially in terms of their writing skills. But you might have an objection, right? Objection! Teacher, yellow card. I want to learn listening and speaking, not just reading. This is a common objection from students. They throw out the yellow card to the teacher. So the question is, can big reading help improve listening and speaking skills? Well, here's one answer. With Ellie's 1992 famous book flood research done in 103 schools in Singapore, experimental students outperformed control students in vocabulary, grammar, reading, writing, and listening comprehension. And of course, we write and talk about books and stories. We write and talk about what we read. We like to talk about interesting things that we read. So talking, speaking is related to reading. So please remember that big reading makes you smarter. It helps you improve your verbal skills. Reading improves life, and it brings a lifetime of enjoyment. And here's the concluding big idea. Big easy reading stands as a cornerstone for good language teaching and learning. It works as the best way for you to improve how you teach and how you learn